Today, I'll show you 10 very common English mistakes that can hurt your professional image. Fix these and your English will instantly sound more natural, more confident, and more professional. Let's start with one I hear all the time. Sorry for the late. Someone joins a meeting late and they say, sorry for the late. Native speakers immediately hear that something is wrong. We just don't say that. Instead, you should say, sorry I'm late, or sorry for being late. It's a small change, but it sounds much more natural. In English, we don't use late as a noun, so sorry for the late sounds strange. Okay, number 2, explain me. This is another one I very often hear. Can you explain me this? Can you explain me something? The natural sentence is, can you explain this to me? With explain, the thing comes first and the person comes after too. So, for example, could you explain that procedure to me again? This one is similar. He said me. He said me the meeting was cancelled. This doesn't sound good in English. We say, he told me the meeting was cancelled, or sometimes he said it to me. With tell, the person usually comes first, and with said, we use to. Even advanced learners make this next mistake. According to me. I often hear people say, according to me, but native speakers don't usually say this. Instead, we say, in my opinion, in my view, the way I see it. For example, in my view, this approach makes more sense. We normally use according to when we're talking about someone else's opinion, not our own. For example, according to the chairman, according to the report. Another common mistake is, I didn't understood. Now, this one is quite basic, but I still hear it quite a lot. Instead, we say, I didn't understand. For example, I didn't understand that part. Could you repeat it, please? After didn't, the verb always stays in the base form, so we say didn't understand. Another basic error which often appears is I am agree. This is a translation error. We say I am in agreement, but that's a little bit formal. Normally we would just say I agree. For example, I agree with that, or I completely agree. I couldn't agree more. Another super common error is to do a mistake. In English, we say make a mistake. So, for example, I made a mistake with the figures, or I realized I'd made a mistake and I had to start again. Certain words simply go together in English, and make a mistake is one collocation that we use all the time. People sometimes say discuss about something. For example, we discussed about the problem, but discuss already includes the idea of about. The correct sentence is we discussed the problem. Removing that extra word about makes your English sound cleaner and more precise. Number 9, I have 30 years. Another classic translation mistake. We don't say I have 30 years, we would say I am 30 or I'm 30 years old. Final mistake. I often hear people say I am working here since, for example, I am working here since 2019. But the natural sentence would be I have been working here since 2019. When since refers to a point in the past, we use the present perfect or the present perfect continuous. What's interesting about these mistakes is that none of them are big grammar problems. Your English can already be quite good, but small phrases like these give you away. Native speakers hear them and subconsciously think, their English is okay, but they still sound like a learner. Fix these small details and something important happens. People stop focusing on your English and they start focusing on your ideas. And that's when your English starts to sound more natural, confident, and professional.